Good afternoon, this is Fiat Panda Man. Long time, no update. Busy work, busy life, usual stuff. What we're going to be working on over the next few days is getting these brakes into a situation where they actually work. So we can see that we have very little pad material left on the rear shoes. The slave cylinders they look knackered, so we're going to see if we can get some more of those. So really what we're going to do is disassembly. We can see the insides of the hub. That simply disconnects for two locating bolts. Once you remove those, and obviously the wheel nuts, the whole unit pulls out. You may need a few clunks of a hammer to get it moving. This one took quite a lot of persuading to move. So we're going to take the slaves off, I'm going to take the shoes off and try not lose our things in the process. I've got to take the slaves up to be identified because there are 3 variants for the Mark 1. Yep. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, this is Fiat Panda Man. We're dealing with the Fiat Panda 4x4 brakes this morning. And the first task is to remove the brake line from the rear slave cylinder. There's a couple of ways we can do this. Normally it would just unspanner and it'd be quite happy, but this has been here for quite some time and it's not moving. So the first thing you're going to want when you do a job like this is a brake line spanner. I think this was about £4 in 11 and 10 size. The second thing you might need is a blowtorch. So we're going to get that nice and hot, and hopefully it should undo. Okay, well that went badly. You're not going to be able to see it because the light's funny. But what we have here is a brake line now that no longer... Oh, no, you can, it's adjusted. So we got it undone from the back of the slave. But it chewed up the... it just twisted, and as you can see here. So we're going to be running some new brake lines. So next we're just going to undo those 2 bolts, remove these and take them up to be checked so we can get some more. Okay, so we have the rear slave off now. Where is it? That's what the rear slave looks like. You have brake fluid come in and it pushes these 2 pistons out, which then push these shoes out. So you can see the 2 mounting holes at the back. The next step really is what we've got to do is remove these springs, which is very difficult to do one-handed. So we'll take this top spring off and we'll take retainer clips off, and then these shoes should come free. Okay, so this is what we have left now. We have the exposed... This is a terrible focus. There we go. The exposed backing plate of the Panda. This is a handbrake mechanism. When a cable's pulled, that levers and cantilevers and basically pushes out, so it's a mechanical aspect opposed to a hydraulic aspect, because the 2 have got to be separated. We have one of the pins here which are used for locating the pads, shoes I should say. Strangely, we seem to be missing one on the right hand side. It's not on the floor, it's not on my tool selection, so I think that's been put back incorrectly. So what we'll do is we'll take some time to clean this all up, probably spray paint it, make sure the rust doesn't get any worse. Tidy this back up here, make sure all handbrake cables working properly. We've got new cables to go on, but what I'll do is I'll clean all this up and make sure it works. On the Cincentos you can actually get rebuild kits, and I'll be honest with you, it looks exactly the same as a Fiat Cinquecento. The rubber at the back, the mounting points, the pivot point, the plate, and the arm all looks the same as a Fiat Panda rebuild kit, which you can get for about, I think it's 30 zloty from Poland, which is, I don't know, about £5. So, and what we have here now are rear shoes. We can see that we've got very little left on them. And the slave cylinder. Hopefully you can see a little bit better now what's actually happened. There we go. We got the bolt, I suppose, nut or whatever you want to call it, out the back of the backing plate, and slave without any problems. But it had seized onto the back of this pipe, so it was no longer turning, and basically it just twisted and sheared. So what we'll have to do is run a new pipe across the top of the axle and just hope that this point here, it's covered in paint unfortunately, is clear. So I think there's a couple of DIY kits on eBay which I'll get. I got a flanging tool and some copper. Have some new lines. So I'm not going to do the other side now. I'm off up to the local parts store so we can get some matches.